these disparities exist in virtually every major American metropolitan area. It's just a question of to what degree.
One of the interesting things that you mentioned earlier today was that there was
Whites
actually an
are
era
getting
in
all
the
the
United States
jobs.
where African Americans were considered 3/5 of a person, right? And here you have this snapshot of how African Americans are doing over the last 40 years. And looking back across this at income inequality, I'm struck by the fact that in 1976, the average black family nationwide earned 59% of what a white family did. Now, 40 years later, it hasn't gotten much better, 60%. What's behind the stagnation?
Notwithstanding the political progress, the progress that's been made in terms of high school graduation rates, number of African Americans who have attained college and great individualized success, this is a persistent, structural, locked-in economic situation. And I believe, Harry, that we highlight it because it defines the pressing challenge of the American future. For Latinos, and Latinos and African Americans are almost a third of the population in this country. Latinos don't fare much better than African Americans. This is an important challenge for America's political, business, and civic leaders to figure out, to concentrate on how to end these persistent economic inequities in the United States.
There is a little bit of an upside in some of these numbers, though. Higher educational achievement, that's an improvement. 40 years ago, 6.6% of black people had a bachelor's degree or more. That's 43% of the number of whites with those degrees. But today, that percentage is up to 63%. So what led to the increase, and how is it affecting the black community?
So I think those increases were a result of policies that began in the 1960s and the 1970s. The Pell Grant program, affirmative action in higher education admissions, the desegregation of schools and the focus on educational and improving educational standards. Much of what we've done in the educational arena, where there's been a focus on civil rights and economic and justice, if you will, has begun to make a difference. We see it indeed in the numbers, but it has not, I repeat, it's not significantly translated to the economic arena. And this is why the Main Street Marshall Plan, which reflects our plan to address this, suggests a commitment of $1 trillion over 5 years to begin to address some of these deep inequities, is our effort to say, let's not get bogged down in just an analysis and a diagnosis of the problem. Let's also focus and figure on how to change it. Now, this is what we also saw in the numbers. From 1963 to 1976, that 13-year period, during the years of the war on poverty and at the height of the post-civil rights era, we actually made tremendous change in America. The poverty rate went down. Income inequality narrowed. But then at 1976, it got stuck. And the disparities of 76 have become the disparities of 2016. Now, we don't know the effect of the recession. If we had not had the 2008, 2009 recession, if in fact the challenges or the disparities would be less. We're not sure of that fact. The fact of the matter is the disparities exist. It presents the challenge for this nation for our 21st century.
All right, you can go online to read the Main Street.
He said all the whites are getting all the good jobs. I missed that part and I couldn't record it.